Good evening, YouTube. I hope everybody is well here over on YouTube. Let me just get the channel up, then I can just say exactly what's going on, and then hopefully everybody can hear me okay. Hopefully everything is ticking along, quite nicely, and then we'll take it from there. Let's have a look. Let's see what's going on. There we are. Let me just turn my big gob down. Yes, sounds okay. So good evening. So let me just type some back. Good evening, everyone. We'll just wait for a few of you to flood into the room, and then we'll take it from there. I am Danielle, better known as Danielle. I hope everything's sort of settled up a bit more. Hi, Sarah. Hello, sweetheart. I hope you're well, and I hope you keep. How's the weather down there in Wales, Sarah? I bet it's wicked up here in the north. It's absolutely a nightmare. It's honestly. Hi to Alan as well. Windy. It is indeed, Alan. Very, very windy here in the northeast of England. It's absolutely crazy. Hi to Sarah. Christine's here as well. Hello, ladies and gents. I hope you is all really well, and thank you very much for joining me. I thought, well, Sunday would be a good day because most people are home, you know what I mean, and most people are. Can you all see me okay? I hope we're not. Let me just turn that camera a little bit. I'm moving it. I might have to move it a little bit if I'm doing a writing on the board. But Laura's here. Hiya to Laura. Nice to have you here with us. It's a pleasure. So I hope you have all got your questions for me. I hope you have all got some things to talk about. Let me just get some paper because I like to jot as I'm working. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the bits and pieces that it's really bad down here. It's really bad in the north, I've got to be honest with you. Hiya, Angela. I hope you are. Angela, I'm in a group that you're adminning. I seen that the day. Well, actually, my daughter's in it, and I seen you were in it. So, Sarah's been flying the dog. Love it, Sarah. Hiya to Ruth. Nice to see you, Ruth. I tell you, there was a wheelie bin went flying past before. It's really bad. I've never seen weather like, I know we have bad weather and that, but this is just something else. Like, I've got to be honest, it really is. So let me just sort of fill these in a little bit on sort of the intro. So I'm Danielle, better known as Danielle Hat Medium. Lots and lots of people may know me, may not know me. For those who do not know me, I'm a spirit trained medium. I have been working extensively with the spirit world now for about 5 years. Teacher, trainer, mentor. YouTube lives and also YouTube tutorials just to help people get that free knowledge, understanding the mechanics of spiritualism as well as understanding the mechanics of mediumship. We talk about everything and anything on here. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and a podcast I have as well, also Twitter. Just talking a little bit about my training. So I launched some online classes last week. There's a couple of spaces left on a few of them, very little left. These are 2.5 hour development classes on mechanics and also on looking at your mediumship and developing your mediumship and taking it to the next level. If you're interested, I will put the email address in the comments box, and also if you want to donate to the channel, that email address will also go into the channel, but everything's in the channel below, down there. Hi to everybody who's just saying hi. I ask all of you lovely lot to please share this video or share this stream or whatever it is that you do to either your Facebook page, groups in which that you are in. Oh, I've just kicked the bucket, I think. In order just to sort of help the channel get out there. It really is important. Please do like this stream as well, because it really does help it rank in the YouTube algorithm. Algorithm is a thing that monitorizes it and looks at things. So if you would really do that, I would be horrendously grateful. Anyway, so I think I've managed to link. You certainly have Susan here. So the spiritual event, yes it is. So evening, everybody. Nails look fab, chicks. Thanks. They're due to be redone. I had these done last week, but I'm going to have them done next week. I've got me tea, so anybody who's drinking cups of teas or whatever it is you're drinking at the moment, I've got me tea. You'll find me with a cup of tea very often. I drink lots of tea for some reason. Thank you very much for sharing. So, this stream is open to you, open to anybody who wants to ask me a question in regards to their mediumship, or just a mediumship question in general, or something that bothers you about mediumship, or something that interests you in respect of wanting to know more knowledge on, these types of things. I'm more than happy to take a look at that. Now, I know Christine asked me via Facebook. Hello to Louise. Hi, Louise, darling. She asked me a little bit about spiritual art. So spiritual art, so if Christine doesn't mind, or Christine Coulson, I would be happy to talk a little bit about your question here on the channel, if that's alright with you. So spirit art is a connection to clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is one of the clairs. Clairs range is used in order to be able to link to the spiritual realms. Now, spirit art normally is done where what we tend to do is we will connect to the spirit world, the medium, and then we will sit and we will draw the particular communicator, which is the loved one to me and you. And then from that, we might get evidence, or we may get more detailed information in order to be able to verify the person with the information and then go out. So it's added addition. It's an added addition to mental mediumship. So spirit art comes under the mental mediumship act. It comes under there. It's under that parameters. And it's just sort of another way of being able to see what it is that the medium sees. Now, I've seen some cracking. I've done spiritual art. Well, I did now many years ago. For anybody who's sort of been watching me for many years, I used to do a lot of Facebook lives, and I used to do a lot of with connections to the Facebook messages, you know, that type of thing. I don't do it anymore, but I did when I first started out. And from that, I used to draw the loved ones as well. Now, people's going to say, can you do spiritual art whether you can draw or not draw? Yes, because what spirit art is giving over to the actual spirit world. And this can also come under the connection to automatic writing. It can also come under the connection of, you know, allowing the spirit world to take over a section of the mind and then take over the hand and actually draw. And I know some people who've never drawn in their life can actually draw very, very well. Anybody can do spirit art. It's wrong when they say they got to go to a hospital test. I'll have a look at that in a minute, Sarah. So it's a really interesting, for me personally, it's a really nice side of mediumship. It's an opportunity for you as the clientele, or for those who are taking sittings, to be able to get a better understanding of what it is that the medium sees. And I've seen some fantastic spirit art drawn by, obviously, mediums, but also actually drawn by the spirit world as well. So I wish you the very best of luck there, Christine, and thank you very much for your question. But I will do a video on it. I am going to be in the office all day tomorrow doing videos on mediumship. So thank you very much for that. I've also still do automatic writing. I quite like automatic writing. I've got to be honest with you, Angela. And I did a lot of automatic writing when I was when I first started doing my mediumship. So automatic writing is allowing the mind to be given over to the spirit world and allowing the spirit world to write what they want. Now, they don't tend to write as well as we do. Now, Gordon Higgins is a prime example of this. If anybody who doesn't know who Gordon Higgins is, Gordon Higgins was a medium who was trained by his mother and trained by the spirit world. And Gordon used to actually get up on demonstrations of mediumship and actually do automatic writing while he was doing actual demonstrations of mediumship on the rostrum. And through this, he was able to give over valid pieces of information, handwritten by the loved ones in the spirit world. You don't see a lot of this anymore, unfortunately. You don't seem to be able to say, I've never drawn in my life, but I draw my guide. And I go, yeah. And that's what happens with spirit art, Christine. And it's where our minds allowing the spirit world a little bit extra room to be able to do the things that they want to do. I know certain people, I've got to be honest with Christine, who've never drawn in their life but can draw cracking images of the spirit world. It's amazing. You know, there's another one that they do where they'll actually have the spirit artist, and then they'll have another medium, which is they're piggybacking off the back of the connection. So what happens is the spirit artist will be standing on the platform with another medium. The spirit artist is drawing, the other medium will link in and then give the communication or the evidence. It's really good, actually, if you get an opportunity to watch it or you get an opportunity to go and see it. So if you haven't seen these types of things, or you know it's something that you're more interested in, certainly take a look at it. You know, my advice again for those who are looking to maybe go into these parameters with automatic writing or spirit writing or spirit drawing, ask the spirit world, talk to them about it. Say to them, look, I'd be interested in taking a further look at this, and the development, is there a possibility? They'll either bring them things in or they won't. So I hope that helps you understand. But I did spirit writing, and the spirit writing was a big, you know, cockeyed type of thing. But, you know, as the more you do it, like Christine and other people, it becomes better and better and better. And a lot of people do, like, philosophy as well. So they'll write. So what automatic writing does is allow the spirit world to be able to write and talk about the things that they want to talk about, a bit like philosophy that I say on a divine service. So it's really helpful in that parameters. So I wish you the best of luck with it, Christy, and certainly let me know how you get on with it, won't you? Sarah, I have a question. Is it wrong when they say you've got to go and you have hospital tests or not, please, Danielle? Oh, the spirit world. Let me have a bit more of a look on that. Send me a little bit more on that one, Sarah, will you please? I'm just saying that she does automatic, right? And Sarah says, just go on and say your face. Just go on what you say on Facebook. Yeah, I remember drawing my life. Yeah, do spirits? So Susan's saying, do spirits come to people's houses now, dreams, or are they just imagination or wishful thinking? Right. So if you understand the altered states, Susan, so the altered states are, we use them with a mediumship, but we also use them when we go to sleep. And everybody astral travels, everybody. Astral traveling is where we will go through the spirit world and then go on to see either our loved ones in the spirit world, or we will visit people on the earth world, or we will go to different places all over the world. Now, some people remember all of this, some people don't remember any of it. And astral traveling is a lot to do with what I would say thought-based matter. There's got to be an intention with it before it can actually become an actual thing. But everybody astral travels, but everybody has to go through the spirit world in order for this to happen. And what tends to happen is when we're sitting in the astral traveling plane, or when we've gone to the spirit world, you've actually gone to speak to your loved ones, or your thoughts have been with them, which is then astral traveled you through there. Now people say, how do you astral travel? So it's an extension of the mind. So it's within the levels of the mind. It's not the actual body goes there, it's the actual mind that goes there. So your mind will go through the astral traveling planes and will go on to the spirit world and will stay with the spirit world, and that's how you come to see your loved ones. It's not See, some people would say, it's imagination. I wouldn't say it is, and I certainly wouldn't say it's wishful thinking either. Astral traveling is very, very, very commonly spoke of. Lots of people have talked about near-death experiences and these types of things. Again, has a connection to astral traveling, or where the mind has started to separate and has started to move away from the physical body and has gone on to the planes to go towards the spirit world. So, in all fairness, astral traveling is fantastic. You can actually produce it on its own without even, you can actually put the intention to it and actually do it. So astral traveling is a really good thing, but everybody astral travels, everybody. It's just whether or not you remember it, it's whether or not you choose to want to believe it or not. Many people say that the spirit will come to you in your dreams. Actually, it's not you actually going to them. So they actually, all you do is you put and I tell you, I did a thing on dreams. And I did this early on within my mediumship, again on my Facebook page. My guides give me a connection to every night for, until you have the results. You would sit quietly with a cup of tea or whatever and just ask for the spirit world. So could I take my vivid dreams as actual connections? Yeah. Do you know what, Susan? I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this. Let me finish this bit off and then I'll help you a little bit with that. So when I was talking about dreams, when I was first on my Facebook page, my guides give me this thing, and what they said was every night before you go to bed to think about your loved ones, and over time eventually you would go somewhere, you would meet your loved ones somewhere, and that would be a connection to the thought-based matter, because that's how every medium connects. Mediums have not got no special powers. They ain't got nothing. There's nothing special. I seen something today. I could have said something, but I thought, no, don't do that, Danielle, because I'll get you in the bother. I was I thought, no, I don't do that, Danielle, because I'll be alone. That's what I thought to myself, don't do that. But yeah, everything is thought-based matter, and when people start to realise that the whole world is moving on thoughts and on, vibration and on energy, will you get it? That your loved ones in the spirit world are actually now energy, and we can connect to them. Everybody's a medium, everybody. And I know you're going to look at me a little weird and wonderful and go, well, how is that possible, Danielle? Because each and every one of you have the ability to be able to communicate with the spirit world. Each and every one of you have the ability through the thought-based matter and of reading energy. Each and every one of you have been reading energy since the day that you come onto the earth world. It's just you don't trust enough in the fact that what you're getting is true, right, and accurate. It is the conscious mind and the fear, and this goes with all Buddha mediums or any medium or any professional medium who's struggling. what happens is fear kicks in, the mind kicks in, the mind goes, I don't like that, take that away. Instead of accepting and understanding that you are of another realm, you come from another realm, you are energy, you're not a physical person. People are so caught up in looking at this that they've forgotten what's actually inside of them, that you are actually energy, you are actually a formulation of, you're eating energy every day, your body needs the energy to keep moving. Everything on this earth world is moving on energy. This pencil I'm holding was built with energy on a machine that was run by petrol or electric, which is energy. Everything is energy, and everything stores memories, everything has memories because of them things. So when people say to me, am I actually connecting to my loved ones? My answer in short to that is probably yes. Yes, it is. It's just you choose not to believe that because it's too far. Your mind's thinking, nah, that can't be possible. It's raking around for the logic. It's looking for the understanding. It's looking for, it wants to find another objective other than the objective in which that you were placed. And what the spirit world's always asking people to do is to trust. Is to trust that what you're getting is true, right, and accurate, and learning to accept that what you're shown is actually that. And when you choose to learn to listen and understand and become aware, is when you really become aware that we are just an extension of a vast, more universal plane than we can even remotely compromise. We are a minuscule in what is like a bit like space. That's what the universe is like, space. You are a millidrop in the consciousness of the one. We are all one. Every one of us are all intertwined through love, through connections, through, energy. We are all connected. Whether you hate somebody or you do not, you are still connected to that person, because unfortunately we are all connected, because that is how it is. We are all interactingly moving together as a collective. Some of them are working against the collective, some are working for the collective, but we are all one, every one of us. So I hope that answers your question a little bit there for you. Someone had a reading and they were told they had to go and have tests done. What the spirit world does do in readings is they'll make you aware of certain things. So i.e., they'll tell me that they're aware somebody hasn't been very well. That's what they'll tell me. They will not tell the loved ones to go and have tests done. They tend to be saying, well, we're aware that my daughter's been having tests done, or they're aware that the daughter hasn't been very well, or the son hasn't been very well, or whatever it may be. I would say that's more of a psychic link. I've got to be honest with you on that one there, Sarah, for me personally. But many people will argue with me that may not be necessarily true. So for me personally, Sarah, I would say it's on a psychic link. But the spirit world are aware of things that we are not aware of. They just do not tell us because it interferes with free will. And free will is ultimately one of the things that we need in order to be able to continue to move forward. So for me personally, I would say it's a psychic link, but a lot of people might disagree with that. So I hope that answers your question there, Sarah. So Laura's saying, I've had plenty of dreams, always on the beach, where my dad has spoken to me direct about advice. Yep, that's right. Laura, they give advice. They don't give anything other than advice. That's all he ever gave. A lot of the time I was outright asking him for help. Yeah, mostly because that's what happens. When we ask our spirit loved ones or helpers or friends or husbands or whatever for help, they will come. They will assist you in whichever way they feel is important. Lots of people, and I've spoken about this loads, seem to think that the spirit world's going to jump up and smack you in the face. They're not. They're very subtle, and this is where you've got to get used to working and reading energy. And this is what I talk about when we first start developing as the medium. The medium needs to understand energy. They need to understand their energy versus somebody else's energy, because if you don't understand what's yours and you don't understand what somebody else's, you can get yourself very confused, and then we have what we call psychic burnout, or we'll have system overload, because what happens is the system doesn't know what's theirs, what's not theirs. And lots of new mediums blame the spirit world. Oh, the spirit world's touched me. The humans are guilty of this and all. Oh, the spirit world's touching me. The spirit world's doing this. The spirit world's doing that. Really, the spirit world's not doing anything at all. It's just that there's been an exchange or change of energy within your auric field, if this makes sense. And there's a lack of understanding from the very get-go of new Buddha mediums or anybody when they're first asking for help or understanding the thoughts or the mechanics behind the back of mediumship. When you understand the mechanics and you understand the theories and you understand the law of attraction and you understand you are what you attract and you are like for like, and you understand that every thought has the ability to become something and every thought has the ability to take you to the spirit world, then you become very aware of how connected you really are. So I appreciate your question and I understand exactly what Laura's talking about. I don't think there'll be any issues whatsoever with that. I would, in fact, to be honest with you, Laura, I'd say that was bang on the money, like, love, to be fair. Angela's saying husband's parents come in, what he describes as a dream, but he says he could physically feel them before they left. Yeah, because when we do astral traveling, you've got to remember that the spirit world want you to remember, they want you to be still aware that that has gone on. And again, you've got to remember, where is the mind? Because the mind's moving up and down the altered states when it's sleeping, so it's constantly moving between the different levels. So some levels are more deeper, other levels are a lot higher. And as your mind is starting to wake, you're moving through them levels, getting ready to come back to what they call the conscious world. So I can understand why it is that he would have felt them, as he's probably been moving up them altered states in order to become awake. They may have just caught him as he's starting to get them physical features back in, or just as that mind was about to wake back up. So I could accept that, Angela, in all fairness. I could, to be honest with you, on that one. Sarah's saying thank you. She's never mentioned anyone being, I'll mind. Thank you. She's never mentioned anyone being. Rewrite that, Sarah, because I don't quite understand that one. Certainly, rewrite that for us so I understand where it is that you want to be with that. Let's have a look and see what else. So, everybody else is just saying evening, hi. Thanks to all those who've been sharing. I'm really grateful to you for that one. I'm just talking about automatic writing as well. And I'm waiting for Sarah to rewrite that one. So has anybody got any more questions for me? I'm just having a drink of that tea. So while I'm here, like I say, I have got a couple of spaces left in regards to the Zoom classes that are on. Some on the, I'll tell you where they are, on the Eastern Standard Time, which is like Boston side, New York side, this sort of side. And there's a waiting list going on the UK thing as well. There's been a few people that emailed me today about that one. So if you want to sort of get in touch with me in regards to that, I'm more than happily give you some new dates that has become available for the UK one. And for the Pacific Standard Time, I've only got 2 spaces left. So if you certainly want to get involved in that, then please do get involved in that as well. So Andrew's saying, yes, I told him that Crows baby, honestly didn't believe me. Well, there's lots of fellas who don't really believe. I've got to be honest with you on that one there, like Angela. Lots and lots of people don't believe. They don't. It's not a lack of understanding. It's just that people don't understand it, if that makes sense, or not everybody sort of gets it. And I think it depends on where the mind sort of sits. Some minds are a lot more open. Some minds are prepared to look at all angles. Some minds are prepared to accept that there is a possibility of this. Then there's other minds that aren't prepared to accept very little. I'm going to move that camera around a little bit. Some minds are prepared to accept lots and lots of things. Other minds aren't as prepared. And I think we have to understand that everybody's on a journey. All of us, including myself. And every one of us are working a journey to the best of our ability. Some things we looked at a couple of years ago, we don't. I moved that a little too far. Some people, don't always understand that journey as well as others do. Some people are still sort of trying to fathom out where they want to be and how far along that journey they are going to go. I think everybody is trying to understand everything from their perspective, and a lot of it has to do with where you sit within the parameters of understanding energy, where it is that how analytic you are. I tend to find people who are kind of analytic or kind of logical tend to want to understand it from a logical side. So they want the facts behind it, they want the science behind it, they want the physics behind the back of it. Then you have other people who are more intuitive, those who are a little bit sort of more emotional, a bit like myself, who are prepared to sort of just go with the flow and see where it is that takes them, if that makes sense. But I really do believe that even for those in the back of there who say they don't believe, I really think that some of them really do believe. Hi Sarah, darling, I hope you're well. I hope you got some questions for me. So I would certainly, my advice to anybody who doesn't quite believe it, so I tell you what, I'm doing a segment on DH9 Radio. I've been doing it now a couple of weeks, and the people that are in there are fantastic people. It's the place they do, it's like a homeless place, if that makes sense. And it's really good. For me personally, it's really good, and I'll tell you why it's really good. Because I tend to find that these people either don't understand mediumship or they've never really come into contact. And it's a prime example because the fellas, there's 3 fellas in there. They are heavy rock fellas. I love rock. I loved rock when I was a young girl. And these people really, really do not believe. The fellas, I was sitting up there, when was I up there? Yesterday, what day is it today? Sunday, Friday. And this fella, he was saying it was like it's all about the science and it's and the physics law and all of this, and I just knew there was no way I would be able to change that mind. So the best thing to do was not to really entertain that mind, because that mind isn't ready to understand or doesn't want to understand. And you can only change the minds that want to listen to you. You can't make anybody believe what they don't want to believe. You can shout from the rooftops, and you can talk to anybody and anybody, but people will either believe or they'll not believe, if that makes sense. So I understand that one, Angela, I've got to be honest. So hi to everybody who's just saying, Lillian's saying, what about all the levels, location, realms people talk about? Right, so what you're talking about, 7 dimensions or the 7 levels of the plane, these types of things, Lillian, give me a bit more on that, and then I'll sort of take a look at that. Hi Sarah, like I say, Claire Martin saying, I totally believe in the spirit world, and that my grandparents are waiting, and my uncles as well. Well, I do believe that is very true there, Claire, and I've got no doubt that they will be there for you. Sarah saying she didn't mention that anyone was ill, it was just a reading, and he asked for photos of mother-in-law. Right, okay then. Every read is different. Hi Selena, my darling. Oh, I'm coming out to Dublin. I'm coming back to Dublin. I'll like to get in touch. I'll tell you all about it. That just turned up over the weekend and all. So I'll get in touch and I'll tell you all about it. I've just been so busy. But going back to Sarah's question here. So it's my advice, Sarah, is every read is different. Every teacher is different. Every mentor is different. Every understanding is different. And ultimately, where we all sort of run on it in a certain sort of ethics or a certain sort of professionalism. So, for example, mediums who don't predict futures, this type of thing. Psychics, do predict futures and da-di-da-di-da. And then, deadly. Definitely, Selena, definitely. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, we'll discuss more. I'll give you a tinkle tonight if you're available, once I get finishing stuff in here. Anyway, so I think everybody, we all run like sort of on a certain parameters, and some mediums need more development. Definitely, I don't think we ever stop developing as mediums. I think mediums we're all constantly learning and evolving, always, whether it be through the spiritual realms, whether it be through workshops, residential courses. Whatever route floats your boat, definitely. I'm not here to say one's right nor one's wrong. I only speak from the spirit world's perspective because I've been trained that way and I choose to learn that way. That doesn't mean to say my way is 100% right. There's other people out there who do loads of stuff and it's all done, very, very well. I'm not disputing that. But for me personally, that's the route that I look to take. I hear a lot of dimensions such as 4G. Oh, Lillian, didn't get me started on that, for God's sake. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. And every medium sort of watching you on TV but couldn't figure out how to send a message. Hope you're well. Hi Marcus, my darling. So I think that every medium is constantly evolving, constantly developing, constantly looking at stuff, you know, this type of thing. So for me personally, you know, I always hope, but beyond hope, that, you know, every medium doesn't predict death. Every medium doesn't frighten clientele. I hope that every medium tries to do their job to the best of their ability. And that's all I can ever hope for. We are all going to make mistakes in the movement, all of us. There isn't a medium out there that hasn't messed up in some capacity, because the human at the end of the day, they're on their own journey, they're on their own path and all. Whether that be that they've done things to other people, you know, whatever it may be there. And once over, I would never have looked at that. You'd spoken to me 2.5 years ago, I would never have looked at it like that. I'd have still looked at it from the human perspective. Now I look at things very differently, and that's because I had to go through some sort of experiences myself for me to have a bigger, broader understanding, a bigger sort of viewpoint, if that makes sense. Is my viewpoint changed in a lot of respects? Of course. Not in all aspects, but in some respects, because I have to develop, I have to keep growing and evolving as a medium. But I do hope, beyond hope, that, you know, teaching, no matter what teaching you take, there'll always be teaching that'll teach you what you don't like and teaching that you do like. That's the way you've got to look at it. Do you know what I mean? It'll either give you an understanding of this doesn't quite sit for me, or, you know, this really isn't, this is all for me, I get this person, I understand them completely, you know, whatever it may be there. So for me personally, it's whatever it is that, you know, each medium brings to the table, and we all bring something to the table. Nobody is any better in this movement than anybody else. And the quicker we get a better understanding of that, the better it's going to be. Whether you're sitting with credentials or you're not sitting with credentials, it's about really how you treat the next fellow man, really, more than anything else. Yes, there's some out there with vast amounts of knowledge. We're not disputing that. Then there's others who, you know, still have a way to go. That doesn't make them any better of a medium, nor does it make them any better of a person either. But unfortunately, there's still a lot of learning in the movement to do in that capacity. But we'll see. We'll live and learn. We'll live and learn. Sarah's saying to me, I believe I see a man's figure before. Since I've been sitting in the power, I asked my team and if they say hello to me. And another morning, I woke up and yeah, I know. You were telling me about that. Well done. I'm proud. And Sarah's a prime example. So Sarah here, Sarah Owens, is a lovely lady, training medium. And Sarah sits for the spirit world. That's all Sarah does. She sits for the spirit world, and she sits every day. You know, every Sunday. I think, Sarah, you were telling me. And Sarah's been asking certain questions and asking for certain sort of bits and pieces. And then Sarah got a voice from the spirit world, from one of our guides. So this is possible. This training, or the way in which that I approach mediumship, is possible. With a little bit of hard work and with a little bit of graft, it is possible. So well done, Sarah. A little happy dance for you. Anyway, so Angela's saying, actually my dad is very spiritual. He saw spirits and sensed things. He understood me. You know, I think it's a great help if you are coming from a background that, you know, already has mediums in it. I think that's a really helpful sort of scenario. For me personally, I didn't actually have that. So for me personally, I understand that, you know, some people have them parameters and you understand them, and they come from sort of the 5th generation, 6th generation medium, da 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 da. But for me personally, I don't come from any generation, because there isn't any mediums in my family. I'm actually the first, with my children being the 2nd generation, and my brother is been talking to me a little bit about my niece. So there's quite a bit going on in that department as well. So it's looking like there's going to be like a 2nd generation with my children and his daughter. But anyway, that's another story. But, you know, for me personally, whether you come from that sort of generation or whether you don't, and this is a prime example of people who aren't spiritually based or anything like that, are all mediums. We all come from the divine. We all come from that particular space. So I wish you well on that one there, Angela. Lillian saying, I heard a lot about the dimensions such as 4G, it's 4th and 5th dimensions. Right. So from now, my understanding of all of this isn't. I don't really get in all of that, and I'll tell you why. Because for me, you're welcome, Sarah, you're welcome. I'm probably going to get bashed to death for this, but we'll go with it. We'll go with it, alright? I'm not into that 4th, 5th, 6th dimension. I'm not. I believe that this could be my narrow-mindedness, mind. It could be, because, you know, let's take it from one. I'm trying to put it in a way that's going to. I'm not saying it could not exist, right? Because that would be my arrogance to think that just because I don't see it or I don't believe it doesn't mean to say it's not there, right? So I have to have the ability to accept that there's a possibility. There's a possibility in everything, whether it be energy, whether it be a collective of consciousnesses. I've got to open my mind to the possibility always. But from a personal viewpoint, I don't believe it's true. Right? I don't. But that's just my personal opinion. Now, what do I base that on? I hear you shout at me. I basically base it on probably a lack of knowledge. So where the lack of knowledge becomes a lack of understanding, where the lack of understanding means that there's not enough for me to be able to make a qualified opinion on it, or at least research it. Me personally, I like to, if I'm going to get something, I like to research it, I like to understand it, so then I can give a projectively observational, impartial sort of viewpoint from it, because really opinions are based on emotions, and I didn't really like opinions. I see a lot of opinions thrown around, and I didn't really like that, because for me personally, when you start getting opinions involved, you're getting emotions involved. When you get emotions involved, it's either coming from a place of love or it's coming from a place of hate. It's only coming from one or the other. And for me personally, that can cause us to have some real issues, especially in the movement, if that makes sense. You understand the dimensions. The dimensions, from what I appreciate, is that there's an evolution. So the humans are evolutionizing. So from where we once were, you know, maybe 20, 30 years ago, we're evolutionally moving forward, which means we're moving into another dimension of different energies, of a different collective, of what we can learn within that collective. Is that correct, Angela? I'll just wait for Angela. Because I like to learn, and now if I can learn so much here, I'm always happy to learn something if I can. Fill me in, lover. Oh, was I right? I don't know where that come from. Just sort of like dropped into my mind. Must have come from the spirit world. Anyway, well, it must have come from, I don't know, unless I've read it somewhere or something. So, right, I'm with that. So I appreciate that. So I can understand that in that capacity. I see a lot of to do with some classes, yeah, where you see, I see a lot of stuff like on aliens and, you know, reptilian behaviour. I see somebody else. I think he's no good. He's getting photos of people saying he's having tests, and it's just my opinion. Yeah. Well, I can't really comment on that, like Sarah, you know what I mean? But like, I see like people talking about reptilian behaviour and sort of, you know, these types of things, and that doesn't really float with me. Like, I've got to be honest with you, it doesn't. Like, I don't know why. It just, I don't know. I don't know whether it's the reptilian bit that doesn't float with me, or whether it's I'm just, you know, aliens and stuff. You know what I mean? Somebody asked me that question. They were like, do you believe in aliens, like Danielle? And I was like, well, it would be naive of me to think that we are only but the one collective. Like, do you know what I mean? To think that we are the only one that sits within the universal parallels, if you can understand what I mean about that. So I'm always interested to see whether that's possible, if that makes sense. You know, it could be possible, it could not be, but you cannot not dispute these matters just unaware of lack of knowledge or lack of understanding. So I'm always open to the possibility that there could be aliens and you know, these types of things. And could there be could we be altering the energy and the dimensions and learning more? Well, that's just evolution of the human race, really, in my opinion. But then again, you know, it might not be. So for me personally, Lillian, that one, I think we might have to put that one out there and maybe wait a little bit longer to see what more we get back on that one and see where we go from that one. Alright? Anyway, let's have a look. So, Morris is in, I think my mum had the gift and she was into tarot reading and right into astrology. The one with the plants. You mean the planets, Marcus? Yeah, I like astrology. Not everybody agrees with it, but you know, for me personally, I quite like astrology. I don't live my life by it, but you know, it's like anything. You get along with horoscopes and you see what the crack is, and you know, it's just, I think it's just a human thing, really, more than anything else. But yeah, I understand that. I feel the same way. I just want your thoughts. Even spiritualists that used to use it to say they're not at the level they are, and if you pay them and they take you higher. Right. So what they're really saying is that your knowledge is limited, Lillian. Basically, that's what that statement's saying to me. So your knowledge is limited. So therefore, if you pay us more money, or you pay us money, we will take your knowledge to another level. Now, granted, you know, some people pay top whack for top training, and in every capacity, whether it be mediumship, psychicness, you know, whatever it may be, tarot reading, whatever it may be. Does that make it any better? No, not really. Because you've got to understand that the knowledge is only the knowledge of which is the mediums. It's only the knowledge as much as what they've gotten from their teams or whatever it is that they've picked up throughout the years. And then where's that knowledge come from? So where they getting, the next question you've got to ask. For me personally, when I'm looking at booking for anything or I'm going to buy anything, I'm interested to know where that knowledge has come from. So if I'm watching, I don't know, somebody on YouTube, I'm interested to know where that knowledge has come from, who's trained them, or where it is that they've gotten their information from. Because it's important to understand them things, and sometimes I think we don't check these things enough. And it's important, I think, you do a little bit of background research on your teachers, your tutors, you know, X, Y, and Z. It's important for me personally. It might not be for everybody, for me personally, especially when they're asking me to pay £300 and £500 for the privilege of it. Do you know what I mean? It's important. So for me personally, but does money make the training better? No, because you can't buy mediumship. You can't. As much as people like to sit there and say they can, and they can make you the next big thing, they can't. They can't, because they have to take into consideration, one, how far the mind is, where the mind's sitting, and how much the mind's about to allow. They're never going to know them things because it's not their job to know them things. And this is the big problem. This is the big shout that's going on in the movement at the minute. There's a big problem in the movement at the moment with people are saying that people are being in development long enough. They're not being in development. They've only been in a couple of workshops. They've only been here. They've only been there. And there hasn't been enough understanding of the mind, or understanding of the energy, or understanding of the medium. And therefore, they're sort of given what they call instant mediumship, or instant classes is what the big thing is at the minute. Instant classes, which fits everybody, or tries to fit everybody. I don't know about these things. I can only sort of talk about them. For me personally, I would need to say more on it. I couldn't give a full opinion on it till I say more on it. But me personally, I personally think that you can't get mediumship. You can't buy it. You've got to sit for it. You've got to build that relationship with spirit. You've got to sit with them and work with them to the best of your ability. So, but you know, everybody goes different ways, and I appreciate that. But for what you're saying to me there, Lillian, what they're basically saying here is if you pay us, we'll give you some extra knowledge. And a lot of knowledge you can get for free now, which is really helpful. Well, don't get me on that subject. Which one, Angela? Which one subject? Oh, let's hear what you've got to say. Do you want to tell us all about that? Doesn't sit well with me. Well, we could argue about all sorts of things. We could. There's lots of things we see in the movement that we don't really like. There's lots of things that people don't really like to talk about. There's lots of things that go on that is done behind closed doors. It's unfortunate. It's just the way the movement is. The movement's not as open as it should be. There's a lot of interesting characters in the movement, and because everybody can be a medium, this is the problem I have with saying that everybody can be a medium. And I agree, everybody can be a medium. If you're saying everybody can be a medium, then everybody should be out there demonstrating, right? Because ultimately that's what we're telling everybody. And for me personally, that's got to be a big question. That's got to be a big sort of, you know, one you've got to ask yourself. If we're going out there telling everybody that they can be a medium, that they can do this and they can do that, then they've got every right to be out there demonstrating like the rest of us, have they not? You know, you've got to ask yourself them questions. You've got to look at it from that perspective. You know, you're saying to people, we pay you this, we pay you that. You're gonna do this, you're gonna do that for me. got to be honest with you, like on that one, I would love to train, but like I'm skeptic about the training because of how legitimate they are. Well, this is where you got to do your background. Do you know what I mean? For me personally, you know, you've got to be able to understand where that person's coming from. You've got to understand where that knowledge is coming from. Is it coming from the spirit world? Is it coming from somebody else? Is their teaching because of somebody else's teaching? If so, which teacher have they getting that knowledge from? Because you need to understand these things. For me personally, a lot of my knowledge comes from the spirit world. Learning and understanding, and I speak about this all the time, and people probably didn't like me talking about this, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. You know, when you sit for the spirit world, you learn knowledge that's yours. It becomes yours. It belongs to you. It's not somebody else's knowledge. It doesn't belong to Joe Blogs down the road. It doesn't belong to anybody. It belongs to you because it's understanding. Reptilian. How are Angela? Tell us all about it. I've been hearing that word banged around a little bit. I tell you what, this is totally off subject, but we'll talk about. So I was watching this wifey on YouTube, and Ash was doing these tarot card readings things, and I was sort of gigging at it and watching it and doing this and doing that, right? And she started talking about that reptilian, and I was thinking, what on earth is she talking about? And then obviously it's been talked about here at night, so how it fills in. But anyway, as I'm just getting back to filling, you know, and I talk about this one. For me personally, training, I say this about when you're picking mediums, right? I'm picking mediums for sittings. Gamble what feels right. If it feels right, and the person sits right with you, and they can sort of tell you where they've come from and what they're about, and what, you know, and even with all the certificates and that, them certificates don't make them people good mediums. They don't. I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to be awful. I'm not saying that these people aren't good people or anything like that. But there's a lot of emphasis around certificates, and it's not always the right way. Does that make sense? It's not. But for me personally, you know, gamble what feels right for you. Hello, Edward. How are you? You think your mum broke the internet? How do you think she broke the internet, Edward, love? I hope you're well anyway. It's nice to see you. I'm waiting for Andrea to fill me in on this reptilian thing. Sarah's asking me, do you think I should use tarot cards? I brought some and tried. Right. For me personally, Sarah, I started out down there with the connection. I started with tarot cards. I did. And then I just sort of continuously just started moving forward. I'll never forget, I was doing tarot card readings and stuff like that. And me and Chief have been talking, you've heard me talk about Chief and stuff like that. And this one day, he'd said to us, why don't you try without? So I said, right, oh, fair enough. So I sort of tried, the time I was private sitting and da-di-da-di-da and all the rest of it. And so I did it without them. She just turned 80, she told me. Edward, you crackers. Anyway, so for me personally, I just tried it, and at first it was a little weird. I've got to be honest with you on that one. It was, Sarah, it was a little bit sort of dodgy and this type of thing. And then as I've started doing more and more without them, I've become more and more aware of energy and working more and more with the spirit world. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's a natural progression. I mean, some people, they don't do any of that. Some people need to do some of it. I think it just all depends. Again, it's your journey. It's your problem. It's not your problem. It's your opportunity to get it wrong. And I know you're going to look at me a bit weird and fuck up, but Danielle, what do you mean by that? It's important that you make these mistakes. If you're not making the mistakes, you won't learn from them, and then you won't be able to do them again. Does that make sense? And there's a big emphasis, because we're working with people's loved ones, and this is where you shouldn't rush your development. You shouldn't rush your development at all, because when you rush your development, you don't have all of the stuff in your toolkits, and you haven't done enough exploring. Even me, with the best of intentions, and I've only been working for the spirit world 5 years, training I think for 1.5 years prior to that, and you've got to accept and understand that, you know, you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful if you don't have the right development under your belt, or at least an understanding of the spirit world, whether you're sitting for them or you're sitting in your workshops or whatever it may be. You know, you're gonna come unstuck. You're gonna come unstuck. It's as simple as that. But even if you come unstuck, you still have enough necessary tools within you in order to keep you moving forward, or at least so that you can then say to yourself, well, I made a mistake there, I can put that right. Hi to everybody who's just saying hi. So me personally, Laura, go for it. Sarah, sorry, go for it. Have a try with them. See how you feel with them. See if they work for you. If they don't work for you, drop them. Move on. Try something else. But if you don't try it, you don't get an understanding of it. If you don't have an understanding of it, you can't talk about it. If you can't talk about it, then you're going to struggle. And I'm a great believer in trying anything at least once. Now keep it clean, folks. But for me personally, I've got to say that at least try it once. Whether it be spirit drawings, whether it be Facebook Live messages, whether it be tarot cards, whether it be a workshop, whether it be a residential course. I've tried all them things. Went on a workshop, I didn't like that very much at all. I didn't like it at all. In fact, it was horrendous. The residential course, I've talked about these before. The first one I learned bits and pieces on, I gotta be honest, it was canny actually. And the second one, I didn't learn so much of the person, but I learned a lot about myself. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes training's not always fixing the mediumship. Sometimes training's about looking at yourself. Does that make sense? Because sometimes there's nothing wrong with the mediumship. There's something wrong with you, but you then bleed it down into the mediumship. And this is where I say to people, hiya Terry, I hope you're well, my darling. Oh, bless you. I'm looking forward to training you. So yeah, you gotta learn to have a bigger understanding of you and where you sit within them parameters, and how much do you understand your energy, and how much do you understand the spirit world. Because if you didn't understand the basics, you're gonna struggle further down the line. I gotta be honest with you on that one. I can't get that anymore to you. You've seen them in your dreams? What do you mean you've seen them in your dreams, Angela? And it's like it's a connection, if that makes sense. However, I'll explore this. I'm prepared to explore it. I'm prepared to take a look at it. I might learn something, I don't know. Let's have a go. Right, so fill us in. So hi everybody. So anybody got some questions here? And I'm going to use the board. I tell you what, does that feel a bit weird? Hi to Kerry as well. Nice to see you, Kerry. Have a go, Sarah. See how you get on with them. You might get them and not like them. You know what I mean? They might look at them and go, I don't like these, I don't want these, and put them to one side and never look at them again. But you've got to be able to look at it. You've got to be prepared to at least explore it. Explore the idea that there's a possibility. That's the best thing I can offer with mediumship or anything to do with spirituality. Be prepared to look at the possibility. Be prepared to allow your mind to open, or at least allow your mind to take a bigger look, if that makes sense, in anything. It might not suit you, so you'll come away and think, nah, that's not for me. Then other times you might look at it and think, yeah, I could maybe look at that again. Yeah, I could maybe appreciate that. I could maybe accept that for what it really is. So I was being open-minded with mediumship and your abilities, and looking at things. Always be open-minded with it. You'll try it. If it doesn't work for you, come away from it. Don't look at it no more. And them types of things. That's my answer to it. So I would learn on people with the tarots. Right. Okay, that's no bother. So tell me why you want to learn with them, Sarah. Just out of curiosity, because I know you read energy and stuff. So let me just understand why. Will you tell me why? Hi to everybody who's just saying hi. I don't talk about it because it affects me. Right, well, talking about anything is going to pull it into your reality. So yeah, I can appreciate that. Maybe you want to drop me an email on that one, Angela. And certainly have a talk to you about it via email or through Facebook if you want to check me out through there. Because I know you got me on Messenger. Sort of check me out on that one, alright? Are spirit boxes any use? So are you talking about the ones that you see on Facebook, or are you talking about trumpets and these types of things, Marcus? Because spirit boxes, and the spirit boxes are an opportunity to. Do I think them ones on Facebook and that I've seen are right? No, not really. No, I don't know what that is. But I don't think that's a connection to the spirit world. I've got to be honest with you on that one. But that's just my personal opinion. Trumpets, you know, these types of things, direct and indirect voice, so ones where you're using the trumpet, one's not, through cabinet work, trance work, this type of thing. Yes, they're all important, we need them. Spirit boxes are where they're supposedly tuning into the energy and sort of, you know, the messages are being replayed back and da-di-da-da. Really, Marcus, if you can get yourself on a good seance, or you can get yourself on a good trance night, you'll see plenty of that. Why does my head go fuzzy in some people's presence? Right, so, like the wee boxes on Amazon, yeah. So, for me personally, my answer to that is no. But are they fun to play with? Yes. Are they an opportunity for you to maybe expand your mind a little bit more? Yes. So for me personally, maybe check them out, try them, you know, these types of things. You might get some hits on them, you know. Again, it's something I haven't actually touched, so therefore maybe I need to go away and have a look at that as well, Marcus, you know what I mean? Open my mind and explore the possibility that there may be. But from my personal knowledge of what I know right now, the answer in short to that question would be no, if that makes sense. But you know, maybe get one. We could maybe try one out, see how we get on with that, Marcus. I'll be interested to see what kind of feedback you could give me on that one. Let's have a look. Right. So your teacher's obviously being right. So normally when we use tools, so whether it be a psychic, I'll get you in a minute, Sarah. Right, give us a second. So Christine's saying, why does my head go fuzzy around some people? Right. What, we all have our own. So me personally, right, when I'm not supposed to be somewhere, or I'm not supposed to be around somebody, I cry an awful lot, right? I get myself in the right state, I get myself right chewed up, and I get myself right hassled, right? And I'll cry, and that's normally an indication for me. I only learned this, by the way, after 38 years on the earth plane. that is the that's my kicker for when I shouldn't be around somebody. That's when I need to get the hell out of there, get away from that person, stay away from them, and don't go near them no more, right? So for me personally, Christine, it could be that you, like everybody else, this good instinct. Some people get the shivers up the back, some people, you know, this, that and the t'other. So for me personally, this is just an observation. Would it be possible that it could be that maybe you need to get away from them people? Just a thought there. I'm not saying it is, but just a thought, or maybe you need to speak to them. Or my advice to you on that one, Christine, would be go into the spirit world and ask them. You'll get the answer back. If you don't really understand it yourself, then that's just my interpretation. Remember, my interpretation is from my viewpoint. My advice to you would be go to the spirit world and ask them. They'll sure give you an answer back. I read angel cards. I'm not into tarot, but I read them. So you've got somebody else there, Sarah, who also reads them. Andrew's another one. Will you ever do a spirit live reading on here, Danielle? I don't have Facebook. Nah, I don't do them, Kerry. There was somebody asking me the other day for them and messages. Well, I tell you, I was in a group, and somebody in there knew me, and there was a conversation went on within this group, Facebook group. I've actually left the group now because I tell exactly what I thought. I'm terrible for that, you know. Anyway, but yeah, they associated me of 3 years ago when I did a lot of Facebook Live and I did a lot of Facebook messages and stuff. They took it as the fact that was what I was still doing, and they made an observation. They judged me on something I did 3 years ago and not on what I do now. And that caused a little bit of it didn't cause me an issue, but I just wasn't very suited about it, and this, that and the t'other. So, and they were asking, you know, do you still do spirit messages and stuff? And I was like, nah, I didn't do them, you know what I mean? You know, there's thousands. You know, there's somebody I've been watching, he's from down south. I was quite impressed, actually. I thought, of all the people, I was quite astonished that this gentleman was up there on the platform, actually giving messages and stuff. I was kind of shocked, actually. And, for me personally, you know, I commend anybody who wants to get up there. You shouldn't take on other people's judgments just because they don't particularly agree with them. You know, if you want to do Facebook messages, by all means do them, you know, but make sure that you do them, you're either doing them for the evidential reason or you're doing them for the psychic, either one or the other. But in answer to your question, Kerry, I won't be doing them, no. I've got plans, I've got other plans that I have in the background and have done for a little while. See you later, Sarah, darling. Sarah's saying, right, so let's get to Sarah's question. So Sarah was saying to us, hi to everybody. You're all just talking to each other. So anyway, Sarah said, so the first teacher used to have said they were good to help. Right, so tools, any tools, whether it be cards, whether it be pendulums, you know, whatever it may be, right, are only but an extension of the energy. So what you're doing is you're putting the cards in place in order so that it's really a safety net, right? That's what it is, right? I know you're probably, some people are going, how dare you say that, Danielle, but you know, it's the truth. Basically, we don't want to fail as a medium. We don't want to fail. We don't want to look like a right wally. We don't want to get these glasses on and start going, you know what I mean? We just don't want to look like a right ding. So anyway, what we'll do is we'll put sort of bits and pieces in place in order to save us, or to do this, or to do that, or whatever. And normally that's the reason as to why we put cards in. I'm watching myself on. My option on Brexit? I don't have one. Right. So for me personally, the teacher may have put them in there in order. I cannot say because really, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. She probably was only doing what she was. I feel like I want to say a she now, and you haven't told me, but I feel like I want to say a she. My advice would be there's been some either more understanding that was needed of her energy or more understanding of her mediumship. So she used the tools in order to connect to the spirit world. But you're already reading energy. I don't want you, right? You're not my student, right? But if you were my student and I was training you on a mentorship program, my advice to you would be, don't get into the habit of using tools, because once you get into the habit of using tools, you've got to then take them out. And if you want to be the demonstrating medium, you can't use the tools. And what the problem with that is, what we do is we become comfortable, we become safe in the knowledge of these tools. So my advice to you is become very safe, be careful there, alright? Don't get yourself lost in them tools. But in the same token, I also want you to have a look at them, because I want you to have an understanding of them. So it's very important that you're very balanced with it, Sarah, alright? The teacher, me personally, if you were asking me thoughts and feelings on that, maybe that lady or that lady felt as if that was the best way forward for her at that time. And maybe over time she's learned to develop more. That's the best way I can put that as well, without looking like I'm picking on people or something. Anyway, so I hope that helps you. I have Dio saying I have a bit of trouble turning off. I feel like I close the door, but then I keep getting pictures. Do you know why that is, Dio? Because there's no discipline of the mind. Tut tut tut. But anyway, I understand it, I get it, I appreciate it, I understand that. So basically what you're telling me is you're constantly looking for the spirit world. You're constantly looking for them, instead of accepting that that's it for today. You've got to learn to be more in control of your mind. Now, I was guilty as all sorts of this, Dio, when I first started out my mediumship, because my mind just moves at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I've had to learn to be more and more disciplined with my mediumship. How do you get that discipline? I hear you shouting at me. How do you get that? Right, so discipline comes through time. It doesn't happen overnight. You've got to learn to become aware again of what's yours and what's not. Over time, you've got to learn to only look for the spirit world when you're working for them. You've got to learn to accept that the spirit world is always going to be there. This comes with a trust link and all, because lots and lots of new mediums don't trust. They have a real hard time trusting that the spirit world will still be there if they come out, right? So for example, so let's put it this way. Let me turn the camera a little bit and I'll write it. Now, I've got itchy eye. I'll wait for the camera, because the camera takes a few minutes, and I'll sort of write it a little bit for you, if I've got it right. I think I might have to turn the camera the other way, actually. It's a trust thing, really. That's how you get discipline. Oh, I've got it there. Right. Hold up. I'm just waiting for the camera. So I'm a bit... But that's ultimately what it is. It's a lack of trust. It's a lack of a worry in the fact that I've turned it the wrong way, like an absolute ding ding. There we are, right, so here we are. So it's a lack of trust. And what happens is that when we're the first medium, and here's you as the beginner medium. Can you see? I hope you can. Wait a minute, I've got to wait for that. I've got to wait. Hey. Can you see? Move that chair out the way. So this is you as the beginner. Here's the beginner. And the beginner has got energy all going on because you've got all this extrasensory system firing off, right? Now bear in mind, it's also, a lot of it's got to do with the mind. So you've got all this stuff and you're very eager to learn. Right, and you mediums love to learn. I like to learn still. I'm not far further down path, but we like to learn. So when we like to learn, what happens is our mind fires off all over the place. Now remember, we also like the feeling of the spirit world. So we like being over here because we want to understand. And what happens is when my mind's always in the spirit world, you're constantly tapped in. So one foot's in this world, one foot's in that world. Or your mind's in this way, half your mind. So half of you's in the spirit world, half of you is down here. And over time, you get a bit, not sick, but you get an understanding that you don't need to be over here all of the time. You don't need to be constantly looking for the spirit world. And especially if you're doing one-to-ones, and it gets some new pens, one-to-ones, or you're doing the floor demonstration, or whatever it may be. We panic because we think the spirit world's not going to turn up. We panic that our ability has left us. We panic and think that the spirit, once you start working for the spirit world, that's it. It's game over. You work for the spirit world. Once you start working for them, that's it. You can't change it. You will always work for them. Whether you take a step back or whether you choose to do another part of, whether it be communications, healing, whatever, you always work for the spirit world. And a disciplined mind comes over time. And discipline of your mind will learn you again. Learning the mechanics is really important. So you understand in the fact of what you look for, you will find. So here's a big thing. People talk to me all the time about finding the spirit world, or they talk about it, even if, let's general it down in the normal life, haters, gossip, all these types of things. You go looking for these things, that's exactly what you're gonna find. I don't go looking for this stuff. I don't go looking for this negativity. Get into the habit of not looking for negativity in your mediumship. Learn to understand that you are what you attract. Your mind, if you're putting enough intention to it, which is again when we say intention and going to the spirit world, you've got enough intention to pull all these things to you and all. So you've got to be very careful of where, you've got to learn to be monetarian of what you're thinking. You've got to learn to be aware of when you're thinking of the spirit world and when you're not, because remember, the spirit world is only but a thought. One thought can take you to the spirit world. You've got to be monetarian of what you're thinking. You've got to be very careful of what you're thinking. I can't see. You can't see. Can you not see? I need new pens, I think. You should be, I'm back here new anyway. So I'm gonna have to have, I think we're gonna have to have some new pens. The pens aren't very good. Let's see if I knock the light off. Is that better? Can you see now? Yes. Yeah. You're not being monetarian about what you think. You're sort of, what you're doing is you're just thinking about the spirit world all of the time. You're constantly thinking about your connection to the spirit world, and what you have to understand is that is instant. The one thought, as soon as you think I'm in the spirit world, that's it. You're there. There is no ifs or buts about it. That's it. If that makes sense. Right. That's right, Edward. You won't be able to pick a card. You won't be able to do any of them things on rostrums. So keep an eye out on that area. But that's what discipline the mind. Now that takes some gunning, that like. And I've been working, I would say, detrimentally on that for the last 2 years. Discipline of the mind. Discipline of what I think, how I think, the way. Energetically, you've got to remember, even just thinking about somebody you know, you're energetically pushing your energy at them because their thoughts, your thoughts are there, so they're energetically picking you up. Does that make sense? If you're energetically thinking about all this gossip and these haters and all of this, that and the other, you're drawing all that stuff to you. Learn to be positive. Learn to only look for the good. You go looking for the crap, that's exactly what you're going to find. I say I don't go looking for anything like that. I don't even entertain stuff like that. I don't go down that road. You can talk about them things, and when you talk about, you've got to remember this, when you start talking about negativity, gossip, this, that, the t'other, do you know what you're doing? You're pulling it into reality. You're pulling all that stuff into reality. You're pulling everything, and it's the fundamental basis of your mechanics. So when people talk to me about these things, they haven't got the mechanics in place. They haven't got the understanding of the reality of mediumship. Because when you understand that you are what you think, your thinking is what takes you to the spirit world. When you think fearful of, I can't find this or I can't find that or whatever it may be, it's, you know, that's, you are what you think, and you will find. If you sit there and say I can't connect, that's exactly what's going to happen. You can't connect. If you say I can't find my guide, that's exactly what's going to happen. You can't find your guide. If you go with the intention of I'm going to the spirit world and I'm going to meet my guide, that's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. Why do you think that mediums start to develop later in life for others? I don't know really, Edward, to be fair. I think as you get older, you become more assured of who you are, you know what I mean? Or I think we haven't, you've got to remember, in order to do mediumship, you've got to have some life experience going on in there. You've got to. There's no, I've heard people say, you know, media, they do this, they do that. I've seen a few different concepts and a few different sort of, but my theory from the spirit world is that the spirit world uses the memories within your mind. So what they do is I've had a few people have talked and felt like in my head and didn't know why. That's exactly right. If you put your, I'll do Andrew's question and I'll get back to you, Sarah, right? So basically, my interpretation of the spirit world is that the spirit world use the memories within your mind in order to be able to give over the communications. They use the knowledge you already have in order to be able to give the communications over. So that therefore, I find most mediums that I know have had an awful lot go on within their lives. There isn't a medium I've met yet that hasn't had some life crisis, you know what I mean? And I mean, they've come from either interesting backgrounds or whatever it may be, and the spirit world uses that knowledge in order to be able to give the communications over. I think in your 20s you don't have enough knowledge in that capacity, or you don't have enough experience in life in order to be able to do them things. But I do know one gentleman who was on the rostrum from being 13-year-old here from the northeast of England, and he's been demonstrating for nearly 20, 30 years. So that's only my thoughts and feelings. I could be completely wrong on me, so shoot me down if I am wrong, and I'm sure somebody will somewhere. But you know, that's just my viewpoint from it, Edward. I think a lot more of us are sort of looking for mediumship. Then we lose people. We start becoming aware there's more to life than just the things that we're shown, you know. And I think a lot of us are sort of very into that type of thing, or wanting to look differently at how life may be presented to us. So that could be another reason and all. Sarah saying, I just had a feeling people were talking it, and I felt like in my head I didn't know. Yeah, the spirit world's with us 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year. They are there. It is only but a shift of the mind. So as soon as you think, so I'll give you an example. So this morning, this is no word of a lie, so this morning I've had some bits and pieces I've been doing in the spirit world. I've been building and creating some new stuff with Chief in the spirit world, in connections to training, in connections to some other things. And it's been on my mind. And obviously I went to bed. I didn't go to bed till 2 a.m. this morning because I was working. Right? I'm a workaholic. I don't know if anybody's realised that, but I'm a workaholic, right? So I was working till 2 a.m. this morning on just bits and pieces with me and Chief. And you know, as soon as I sprung my eyes open at 9 a.m, my first thought was, I'm going to spirit world to see if Chief's found out. And honestly, I was still lying in bed, and he was there, and we were talking. So that is very, very true. Some mornings, man, I wake up, and the thoughts are already inside my mind, and I haven't even gone to the spirit world. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's as if he's trying to get me attention. So the other week, there was something I was doing, and anyway, I went to bed, and I thought, sorry, you know what I mean? I'm going to bed, and I woke up the next morning, and the answer was there. It was there. As soon as my eyes pinged open, the answer was there. So yes, they're always there. They're always around and about us. They're always sort of helping us out. You know what I mean? They're always sort of wanting to connect with us. But discipline is massive, massive. And if you don't understand the basics, you're going to struggle somewhere further along there. And I'm guilty of that, because when I first started out there, I probably didn't know all the basics. And you know, I've had to go back and relearn the basics. Now I get the basics, and the basics are fundamentally really, really important in mediumship. Don't get too caught up with them cards. Look at them, but don't get too handy with them in your mediumship. Alright? Have I missed any questions? Let's have a look. Hi to everybody who's just saying hi. Please do share this video around. So for everybody who's just new, which I know a lot of you are new, let me just talk a little bit about the Zoom classes. I'll put the email addresses in here for you. So this is the one for the classes. If anybody's interested, hello to everybody who's just saying hi. And you can reach me on that email address in regards to classes and courses. Does Jacqueline come through? Who is Jacqueline? I don't know who Jacqueline is. That's a connection to wanting to talk to me about the Zoom classes and all these types of things. Oh, Karen. Do I think it's a good idea? It's not what I think, Karen. It's what you think that matters. It's ultimately up to you, my darling. It's got nothing to do. I can't tell people what to do. I can't. It's got to be when the time is right for you. It's the same with your mediumship. It's got to be when the time is right for you. It's got to be when you want to do it. And if you want to do it, you do it. Yeah, that's the biggest thing I've learned the last couple of years. Do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. We don't do readings on here, unfortunately. So I'm very sorry. Not on this channel. We talk about mediumship development, and but I do wish you the very, very best of luck there, unfortunately, but we don't do mediumship readings on here. I'm also separate card readings. Now I've got to be honest with you, Angela. I'll be very fair with you. When I did mine, I always separated. So I did so much psychic with the cards, and the rest was mediumship. I don't know why, but I always separated mine. So you could do that like Sarah. You could separate them. So you do so much with the cards, and then stop, and then do the mediumship at the end. I look forward to it. Like, these Zoom classes are gonna be nuts. We've got people in from all over the place. I tell you. I was talking to somebody last night. He's from down the country somewhere, and I've got Edward in there to tell you, man. It's gonna be a scream. It's gonna be a scream. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be got all different Southerners, Northerners, Welsh people, Scottish, you name it, Irish. We've got everything and anything in there. I've got to be honest with you. Yeah, definitely, Sarah. See how we get on with that one there. I've seen a gem-shaped pink entity well out of body. Thought? My advice to you would be, whatever resonates for you, go with that. If that makes sense, go with it. You know, always, I'm a big believer. Hello from Australia. I've just joined. I hope you're well. Hello, Jasmine B. If you've got any questions for me, certainly do drop them in the box. I'll take a look at them. Diamond face encrusted crucifixes. I would honestly say that if you are to go with whatever it is that makes you feel best, or whatever it is that works for you, certainly check that out there. Alright, I wish you the very best of luck with that one. I certainly hope it all works out for you. Good luck, Karen. Yes, good luck to Karen. I hope it all works out for Karen. I hope it all sorts itself out. You moved your mind, Laura. You moved your mind. Now you become aware. Move it back. Not related, but the wheelie bins are flying around. Here, honestly, I'm a joke, Marcus. And I know it's probably not even mediumship related neither, but honestly, I was out the back and the wheelie bin was just flying down the road. I was like, oh my god. It's been wild here in the north. And last night, you imagine, like I said, I didn't go to bed at 2 o'clock. but the racket was the whole house was raking, and I mean like shaking. And I'm on the gable end, so that was just like I thought, in house it's gonna be like Wizard of Oz. My house gonna take off like Kansas, like Dorothy. But yeah, let's have a look. Anybody else got any other questions for me? It was my tea. This one's gonna be card, and that is Sarah. Honestly, it's wild up here. It is. It's wild. It's terrible. I knew that was going to be cold. I just knew it was going to be. Everybody happy? Jasmine B, I know you're new here. Have you got any questions for me, my love? Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Is that it? Are we done? Might be done actually. Please do share this video around. It'd be really, really helpful for me. Helps the viewing, you know. Please do like it and share it and all of that. The wheelie bins are haunted, moving around all over. Right, well, I'm going to love yous and leave yous for that one. We'll have a one up for next week, so I'll be back next week. So bring your questions and things next week. I look forward to having yous all here with me. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I'll be off. And I think, do you know what it is? I might go and watch a film, actually. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us. I hope it's been informative. Please do invite your friends to the channel and all of that. And thank you for joining me. I'm grateful to you. All right. Have a great evening, no matter what you do. And I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye for now.